Hi folks, and welcome to the video recording of the webinar E-commerce Guide to Google 2014. It was originally aired in January of 2014. So that you get a good understanding of what you're getting into, we received lots of feedback on our webinar. We wanted to share some of the nice things people have posted and written to us about this presentation. This might set some expectations, and hopefully they're high expectations. We hope you enjoy this. My name is Nik Rajpal. I'm the VP of Client Services here at Exclusive Concepts. I can be reached at nrajpal@exclusiveconcepts.com. You can follow me on Twitter at Nik_Rajpal. I've been a speaker at many events, Yahoo Summit, Sempo, Hosting Con, done webinars with Google, Conversion Conference. My areas of expertise are e-commerce strategy, organic search, paid search, conversion optimization, and email marketing. Well, who are we at Exclusive Concepts? We're the leader in do-it-for-you e-commerce marketing services. If you read it backwards, it makes the most sense. We only focus on marketing, we only work with e-commerce stores, and what we provide for business owners is a way for them to invest in marketing channels without having to do any of the work. We do it for you. We've been growing pretty healthy. Our team is based in Boston, established 1997, and thanks to the patronage of our clients staying on board, we've been on the Inc. 5000 for 5 years straight at this point, and we continue to be on it. We're e-commerce focused, and our typical client earns over about $1 million in annual online sales and spends over about $10,000 a month in online marketing. Now, this is typical. You may not fall in this realm, and you might still be a perfect client for us. So please contact us if this inspires you, and if you feel like the approach that we take is a good fit for you. This webinar is not just about our approach. This webinar is a guide for you. Now, we very often ask our clients what they like about us, and in recent survey, they've been able to tell us what they value the most. We help them grow their revenue. So we focus on revenue growth instead of things like rankings, for example, which may not always lead to the best revenue growth for a particular business. The ability to compete better, especially when it seems like competing is insurmountable. The quality of our team. We have an amazing team here at Exclusive Concepts. We are lucky to be based in Boston. We have access to some brilliant minds around here, and the team is filled with people who share common values like being kind and spreading kindness. But most importantly, our clients say we help them invest in channels without taking their time. There's no babysitting required. They don't need to worry about whether or not we're doing a great job. They know and can be confident that we're doing a great job for them. So back to our clients, we've made this promise. We say we understand what is valuable to you. So over time, as we continue to optimize our services, which we optimize our services every single quarter, we keep getting better about saving your time, making sure the quality of the team that you have through Exclusive Concepts is the best you can find, and that we continue to focus on and find new ways to grow your revenue without increasing your spend. So with this video, if you're inspired through this video, we do have an offer. We'll be doing audits, and these audits will help you check for duplicate content issues targeted by Google, for the footprint of Panda and possible penalties. Same thing with Penguin. See how far your content is from the type of content Google wants, how big the opportunity on the content side is, what kind of paid search cash impact you're achieving right now through PPC, what PPC positions, ad positions are most profitable for you, and by device. Are you using Google Shopping effectively? Are you using remarketing effectively? And as you watch this webinar, you're going to get a sense of how important these are. All you have to do is let us know by emailing us at sales@exclusiveconcepts.com that you'd like this particular audit. And if you're not the right fit for any of the services or for us as an agency, we'll let you know. Don't worry about that. Don't be shy. Please contact us. So the agenda for today, we're going to talk about Larry Page returning. to Google. The rollout of SEO changes, thriving in the new SEO. PPC, watch how it takes center stage and what kind of changes have happened there, and how you can take advantage of those changes. And then we'll help you put together an e-commerce strategy for Google for 2014. So we'll start off with Larry Page. Larry Page is one of the founders of Google, and for those of you who've heard of the term PageRank, it's named after Larry Page, not after the fact that the web is made up of web pages. It's actually the guy's last name. In January of 2011, Eric Schmidt, the then CEO of Google, announced Larry will now lead product development and technology strategy. His greatest strengths, starting from April 4th, he will take charge of our day-to-day operations as Google's Chief Executive Officer. In this new role, I know he will merge Google's technology and business vision brilliantly. I'm enormously proud of my last decade as CEO, and I'm certain that the next 10 years under Larry will be even better. Larry, in my clear opinion, is ready to lead. Well, when Larry came in, he inherited some problems. You see, there are two ways for an e-commerce store always to make money from Google. There's paid and there's organic. On the paid side, if you were an investor back in 2011 investing in paid, it may have been an unprofitable marketing channel for you. People didn't trust those ads. The quality of traffic was often very low, and the way the ads were positioned in the search results was often very easy to miss. But if you were an e-commerce store investing in organic, it was very profitable. There were these loopholes that you could easily take advantage of. You could use blatant SEO techniques. The Google team was not targeting any of those techniques at the time, and content quality kept going down. So what happened was Larry inherited something that was a big win for Google, or could have been, but because it was a big loser for e-commerce stores, paid was not winning. And on the organic side, because it was so lucrative for e-commerce stores, he was having a challenge because that became a loss for Google. So his goal was to make paid a win-win and make organic a lose-lose. So how did he start tackling this? We'll discuss now the rollout of SEO changes. Let's go way back first. Way back, meaning 6 years ago, way back. Until 2008, pages with content that were put into Google were put into a primary index. And pages with no content were put into a supplementary index. And what's the difference? Primary index was the primary source of pages for a search, and supplementary was a secondary source. So if someone typed in a keyword and the primary index had 15 pages relevant to that keyword, the first 15 results would come from the primary, and then after that you would have nearly an infinite number of extra results that were supplied by the supplementary index. Okay, so what happened in 2008 was Google decided that there are a lot of pages that have content, and they need to start putting some of those pages in the supplementary. It can't just be lack of content. So they said if we find content on a page, the first time we see it, we'll put it into the primary index, and then if we see it again, we'll put it into the supplementary index. But at the time, what's notable is that the content that was duplicate that was being put into the supplementary index was actually pretty good content. People weren't writing content just to be unique back then. They were using manufacturers' content, pretty good content. So what happened all of a sudden is, while people realized that they could invest in unique content, quote unquote, and get in the primary index that didn't have to be good, they started investing in more unique but bad content. And once again, if you email us at salesexclusiveconcepts.com and you want this audit, we'll actually start to see what your duplicate content issues look like. Okay, so now Caffeine rolls out in 2009. It's a new indexing process. It makes finding unique content much faster. So businesses start seeing their index increase when they invest in unique content. And it didn't have to be good content. So a lot of people were investing in very poor quality content. And what happened was the primary index started growing at an exponential level with bad content, but it was unique. Let's get to know the Google team just a little bit. Carrie Grimes is one of the principal engineers at Google, and she blogged quite a bit about Caffeine. She currently leads the research and technical team in search infrastructure at Google, and she's actively trying to figure out what criteria make search engine indexing good, fast, and comprehensive. And she shared this slide in her blog post. The old index used to be indexed one huge chunk at a time, and then it would go live. And Caffeine started indexing in small chunks, so it was almost real time. Okay, we'll get to know more people at Google as we go through. So in 2011, Panda comes along. Now we have this problem because there's lots of unique bad content out there in the primary index. And what Panda is trying to do is they realize that this bad content is being written in what you would call content sweatshops. People who don't actually speak English as their first language, writing content to create crap, unique content out in the marketplace. So it creates a new layer of Google called Panda. And Panda identifies low quality content on a site and assigns green signals to the good content. And if content doesn't meet the threshold of quality, it gets red signals. Now, when you look at the site, you take a step back from those pages, sites with lots of green signals get helped by Panda, and sites with lots of red signals get hurt. So that's how Panda works. It's for the first time a way that Google is trying to address the quality issue. And once again, if you email us at salesexclusiveconcepts.com and request this audit, we're actually going to check if you have the footprint of Panda and possible penalties. So who's behind Panda? Well, Panda was launched by a computer software guy named Mgmt Panda. His last name is spelled Panda. And he puts out there in his social pages, his research interests are machine learning and data mining. Exactly what it took to create the Panda algorithm. And from Urban Dictionary, we see a very good description of the Panda algorithm, a large black and white bear prone to sneezing fits, during which it is typically indiscriminate about who or what it sneezes upon. Okay, so now Penguin. You have these sites with good content that are standing. They've passed everything. Unique content, they pass the indexation team's standards. High quality content, they've met Panda's standards. But this is one of the first times where those easy to detect tactics that people use on SEO, it's the first time that the team finally says, you know what? We know what the footprint of SEO looks like, and we're going to start targeting it. So it creates filters that negatively impact pages that are either hyper-relevant to a particular keyword, they have navigational link spamming or backlink spamming. So now, while your site could do perfectly fine with Panda, specific pages of your site may get targeted because of Penguin. And again, sales@exclusiveconcepts.com. Let us know you want this Google Audit 2014, and we're going to help you see whether or not you have any Penguin issues. Okay, so who's behind the Penguin team? Most people who know anything about SEO or follow SEO know Matt Cutts. He leads the web spam team at Google. And this is what he said about Penguin. Sites affected by this change might not be easily recognizable as spamming without deep analysis or expertise, but the common thread is that these sites are doing much more than white hat SEO. We believe they are engaging in web spam tactics to manipulate search engine rankings. That was April 24th, 2012. Okay, so how do you make it right with Google? Well, now we know what they don't like. We can extrapolate what Google does like. Unique content. Content that has multiple sources of research. pages that have unique keywords on them and then use those keywords in a natural way. Content that has been double edited for errors. And if you are doing link building, natural links. And what they don't like is pretty much the opposite. Pages with no content. Pages with duplicate content. Pages whose content lacks research, uses keywords that everyone else is using but nothing unique, stuffs keywords, has a shallow word count, is poorly edited, or if you are doing link building, unnatural links. So, with all these rules out there, is it even possible to thrive in the new SEO? Yes, very much so. It comes back to a new philosophy. You have to look at things from a different perspective. So let's change the way we're looking at SEO. Let's say, theoretically, there are two different types of searches, which there are. When people are shopping and they're using Google to shop, there are two different types of searches: research intent phrases and purchase intent phrases. A research intent phrase is something that is so general that it indicates that the person doesn't know what product they want to buy. A purchase intent phrase is a search that is so specific that a person either understands a quality of the product they're looking for, specifics about the product name, or they're indicating that they are ready to buy. They're usually much longer phrases, and they're less competitive and they have less volume. Doesn't sound so great right now, but let's explore. Modern search, when applied against these two different types of phrases, plays out like this. It is rare today that someone types in a research intent phrase, looks at the organic results, clicks on one of those organic results, and buys from that site that they went to through this general keyword. What is much more common is that when they type in their research intent phrase, Google Instant, those suggestions, starts asking you to refine your query. Add some more keywords, add some more thought to this search. So before anyone who's ranking for those general terms even gets an eyeball looking at the rankings, they are already searching for a different keyword that is much further down in the scope of general to long tail. What is also very common is that people type in research intent phrase terms to research. And after they've researched, they have a much better sense of what they want. They type in those keywords based on what they want, and then they buy from where they see options pertaining to something that they're more specifically looking for. So if you are trying to rank for your general terms, the research intent phrases in your marketplace, you're clamoring for traffic that's not ready to buy. And if you are trying to target keywords that are purchase intent, then you are attracting customers that have their wallets open, their purses open, they're ready to buy at that moment. So we're going to explain how this works, but we're going to talk about the algorithm, and the algorithm is playing out differently for research intent versus purchase intent. So how does that work? An algorithm is just a basic algebraic equation. So you get a score between a page and a keyword, and whoever has the highest score for that keyword ranks the highest. And that score is made up of many factors that talk about or that calculate the relevance between the page's content and the keyword, the overall authority of the site, and the brand recognition of the brand itself, the site's brand. Amazon has high brand recognition. For a research intent phrase, brand recognition is super amplified. While relevance and authority matter, brand recognition makes up a vast majority of the score. And for a purchase intent phrase, relevance makes up the vast majority of the score. and authority and brand recognition matter less. So let's explore how that works. Here's a research intent phrase. First of all, you'll notice that all the search engine real estate is given to PPC results. There's only 1.5 organic results showing above the fold. And the top ranking is Amazon. Now, if it wanted to have relevance to the term phone cases, it sure as hell should have used the term phone cases in the title, but it didn't. It beats 430 million results, not by relevance, but by the brand recognition of Amazon. Because Amazon is typed in so often, it takes the cake. Now, for purchase intent phrases, first of all, very few PPC ads, often dynamically generated, not very attractive, not nearly as attractive as the ads that were showing up for the general terms. And look at this, Zazzle.com beats Amazon just by having relevance. And it has so much less competition. No one is trying to beat Zazzle for this keyword. No one's even trying to optimize for this keyword. But Zazzle went out there, identified this keyword, became relevant to it, and thereby got this traffic that is ready to buy. Now, we did this poll live when we did the webinar. The questions we asked were, in the last 24 hours, there's been 3 billion searches in Google. What percentage of those searches were searches that only had one instance? Meaning only one person, one time, typed in that search, and no one else of those 3 billion searches were the same search. Most people guessed it was pretty low, but it represents 50% of every day's searches. And those are searches that just have one instance. Think about how many more have 2 instances or 3 instances, not thousands of instances. 20% of the searches in the last day had never been seen by Google till the last 24 hours. And as a business owner in e-commerce, what's more important than all of this is, what does my opportunity look like? So if you went into your search history and you found all the keywords that have driven organic traffic to your site for all the years, and you sorted these keywords by keywords that had the most visits, you would take the top 1,000 keywords and you would say, what percentage of traffic came from these top 1,000 keywords? On average, only 11%. That means 89% of your traffic comes from keywords after your top 1,000 keywords. Now, if you are an e-commerce store that has an SEO program that they've been doing, focusing on 20 or 100 keywords, you're targeting a sliver of the traffic that you can get. You're targeting people who are only researching. You're not coming close to getting the traffic of people that want to buy from you. So the challenge here is, how do you find a way to take your site and get your site to rank for tens of thousands of keywords, hundreds of thousands of keywords? That was our big challenge. Now, to get there, you start thinking about, well, let's say I have 1,000 pages on my site. Well, what is the power of each page on my site? So here's a typical category page. And we're going to analyze this as if we are writing content for one category of a site. In this case, accent tables is the category. What do we have to do on the category page? What do we have to do on the product pages? So first, we're going to start off with what people usually do. A typical category page only targets one keyword. This is classic SEO. An SEO says to the copywriter, here's the page URL, the keyword we're targeting, accent tables, go ahead. And the title, the H1, the body copy, they all target the same keyword. Now, accent table and accent tables, this is a keyword that has a lot of very natural synonyms. right? Decorative table, hallway table, entranceway table. These are synonyms. But this content doesn't use any of those variations. And Google knows that that means you don't have a comprehensive understanding of the topic. Content length, 114 words in this case. Not a lot of content for a category page. Not a lot of content to cover a topic that is this general. And the density of the keywords in this content, way too high, 7%. Here's some typical product pages. Let's imagine that this accent table section now has 200 products in it. So how many keywords are being targeted on this product page? 1. And dynamically generated title and H1 to map to each other. There's no variations. There's no diversity of keywords here at all. The content length of the body copy is incredibly short. Someone told them they needed unique content and they wrote unique content. And the density of the keyword is not even in the body text. Now let's juxtapose that against really strong content. This is the type of content, these are the type of guidelines we follow for ourselves. And we call this value scaping. Taking pages of your site and increasing the organic value of the pages. Make the content unique and map it to a plethora of keywords that are going to drive revenue if we rank for those keywords. So first you start out with the category page, choose 3 to 10 keywords, not 1. The title tag should draw people in from the search results. The H1 should frame the body copy. The body text should naturally disperse these keywords. Choose variations. Like I said, accent tables, decorative tables, entranceway tables, hallway tables. Show that we understand the comprehensive nature of this topic, the semantic correlations that exist for accent tables, the ontological connections that exist for accent tables. Content that is broad enough so that we can actually naturally disperse these keywords, and densities that are natural. Densities that do not exceed a particular density that might trip a filter. Product pages should get the same type of treatment, 3 to 10 keywords. Natural title, H1, and body text. Variations of the concept. Content, less. It's a product page. But still density within realm. So how do you do that? How do you take one category that has 201 pages on it, 200 product, one category, and find a way to effectively write content for all these pages? First, you study the language of the category. You look for those variations. You want to find 1 to 3 variations of this keyword family. For your category, you will have so much data. Use that data to identify what keywords have historically brought revenue to this page and naturally infuse those into the content. And for the product pages, use the data that's available. Use the study of the category page that's available. Use the study of the category concept that's available to determine what keywords should be optimized. And then the way we do it, we write AP style content for all pages. Now AP is the Associated Press guideline book. It's 400 plus pages of rules. And if you follow those rules, we believe Google gives you the highest credit for your content because they see this as the highest quality content you can have. Panda loves high quality content. And what we do for clients is after we would write a category like this, and we suggest you do the same thing, create a Google Analytics campaign just based on these pages. So that after you upload this new content, you can see over time how these pages alone in this one section are starting to perform. It'll help you see the power of data-infused content. It'll drive more purchase intent traffic. It will even help you measure your ROI so you can get more aggressive with this. And start small. Let's scale up. And again, sales at exclusiveconcepts.com will actually analyze your content to see how far you are from what we do, from what we consider to be perfect. So how does this change performance? Surely writing unique content gets you to rank for keywords, but how effective is it to find the best keywords possible and to get these variations? Well, 3 of our clients decided to do an in-house showdown with us. We told them the process, to follow the right content, and we wrote content. They wrote content following this process. Pages for this one retailer, baby clothing retailer, pages that had no copy had value per visit of $1.42. Our challenge, both of our teams, was to increase the quality of visitors by mapping to better keywords and showing up for them so that more often than not, the visitors who came in were buying. That increases value per visit. So when they wrote content, they were able to increase the value per visit using our philosophy to $3.98. When we wrote content, we were able to increase the value per visit to $7.29. It's about a 400% increase in value per visit. That is the equivalent of doing, let's say, 20 different conversion optimization tests and having a few wins so that it adds up to 400% increase in conversions. A sports fan site, we did the same thing. They said, there's no way you guys are bigger fans of sports than us, so there's no way you guys can write content that's going to be on the money that will actually get people to be excited about buying. But when they wrote content, they nearly doubled their value per visit, but we quadrupled it. A pet supply store said, we're going to take the challenge, but we strongly believe that the more content you write, the better your value per visit. Everything is healthier. So we said, fantastic, go ahead. They wrote content about 150 words, nearly doubled their value per visit. Then they wrote content 300 to 400 words, exhausted them. They just ended up fluffing and stuffing their content. They had no idea what to do. And while we wrote 150 to 250 words, our value per visit was still more than double anything they wrote. Execution is really important here. And again, you write to sales@exclusiveconcepts.com. Let us know that you want us to do the audit, and we're actually going to find out how big the scope of this opportunity is. We'll even help you calculate whether or not you can make profit if you work with us. PPC takes center stage. We're switching gears now. We're going to talk about PPC. SEO is over. All right. So how did Larry Page help make PPC a win-win scenario? We're going to cover 3 major changes that have led to amazing results. Improved SERP real estate. SERP, search engine ranking page. The pages that show up when you make a search in Google. That's the SERP. So improved SERP real estate, Google shopping emphasis, and expansion of remarketing. Let's jump in here. What was Larry Page able to do? His predecessor was able to create amazing growth for the Google Ads portion of Google. This is straight from Google's financials. In 2006, there was 73% growth in Google Ads. This is Google's take. 56% in 2007, and it went 29%, then down to 8%. At this point, it started to look like Eric Schmidt's approach was approaching a plateau. Larry Page's approach has helped create consistent growth since. So how did he start? By impacting the SERP, the search engine results page. Well, to understand how the changes he made impact people, I'll do a quick Usability Changes 101 slide here. So the basic concept of usability improvement comes down to just a few different things. If you're trying to increase the usability of a page, the first thing you do is separate elements properly. Separation of elements is key, so people can see each element clearly. Then comes prominence. You want the main elements, the elements of your choosing, to be the most prominent elements that someone sees on that page. And you create that prominence by size of elements, by font size of elements and font color, by background colors, and by images. It's actually really simple. This is how you influence conversion. So how did that play out for Google? This is February 2010. to June 2010. What changes did they make? First, they added a thin new left column. Okay. Nothing very helpful there. They realized that the background color of this results bar was taking away too much prominence from the other important sections, so it was reduced. And to create more of an elemental separation, they created a wider column buffer between the organic and the PPC. Okay, so this is starting to make sense. They're doing a pretty good job so far. From 2010 June to September 2011, we see other changes. The search bar gets that same background that was showing up in the results bar, because that should have more prominence. Fantastic, finally it's more prominent. There's more visual emphasis on the PPC results. Look at that background color. Look at the use of multiple colors here. Plus, they created extended headlines, so this is more attractive. They cleaned up the column buffer to make these PPC results even more attractive. And for the first time, they started launching embellishments. Seller rating started showing up. And trying to do a better job with the left column, they cleaned up and expanded the left column. Here we find that Google decided that using some embellishments really makes a lot of sense. Finally, ads actually get ad extensions. And the left column was dumped. It moved to the top. And just so they could get a sense of whether or not people liked it up there or down here, they set up both at the same time. And they can track the events to see different habits. They finally launched very clean Google Shopping results. We talk about visual emphasis. That is beautiful emphasis. That's August 2012. And by December 2013, only a few other changes have been made. The padding came back, but for a different reason. This time, it is so that when people are typing in a search, the first thing they see, boom, is position number 1. The top menu is dropped, and we just have this nice clean section without this prominent bar at the top taking away visual emphasis. And when we compare, the results are phenomenal. Elements are separated cleanly. The most important elements have the highest prominence. Beautiful job. So that's one way that PPC started showing better results for people. A very easy way. Google also improved its focus on shopping to make a win-win scenario between e-commerce stores and Google. Google made it easier for e-commerce stores to win from the Google traffic. So first, they moved merchant into Google Adwords so that while they start investing in it and make it a win for e-commerce stores, Google also gets a win from it. They get the income. They give a lot more control to people, though. Shopping campaigns come out in October 2013. 360-degree views came out in very limited beta in November of 2013, and discounts and promos come out in November of 2013 as well. This demonstrates an ongoing investment in improving the way that you use Google Shopping as an advertiser, and as a shopper who is engaging with these PLA ads. Okay, now remarketing also got more investment. We'll talk about how you can utilize this to your best advantage in the next section. But remarketing became huge. First of all, with remarketing tags, all you had to do was set up one code on your site for all your remarketing groups, and you could then use the back end of Google AdWords to separate those groups out. Remarketing with Google Analytics made it easy to just connect your AdWords to Analytics in order to create remarketing groups without actually having to add the code into your site. That was 2012. And in 2013, in June, on the same day, there were two releases. Dynamic remarketing, which made it easy for shoppers who've been to your site to be encouraged to finish their purchase. So someone comes to your site, looks at a few products, leaves, doesn't buy. Then, as they interact with Google's display network, like weather.com, they see an ad for your site showing the products they were looking at. This is a way to encourage them to complete their purchase. RLSA, remarketing lists for search ads, is a way for you to target people who've been to your site, but not just in display, not just in Google's display network. But this time, if they've been to your site and you want to target them differently, go ahead, you can target them in the search ads themselves. It's an amazing concept. If you sell guitars, and someone comes to your site, they like the guitar that they see, but they're not ready to buy, you create a remarketing group that includes them. Now they type in music. You would never, as a store that sells guitars, target the word music. But you know what? Maybe this time. This person was ready to buy a guitar. They have music back on the mind as well. Let's have a search result ad show up that says, hey, we kept the guitar you were looking at in the cart. Do you want to take a look at it again? It misses you. Bring them back. Speak to these people in a way that is compelling. And by choosing keywords selectively, even though they may be broader, you can get them at a time that they are thinking about making a purchase, but a little bit differently. There are so many different ways to use RLSA. We're going to talk about triangular remarketing and how RLSA should be used in the coming section. So let's get to that coming section. How do you succeed with all these changes? It's great that Larry Page and his team have made it easier for you to make money no matter what. But competition's high too. How do you really succeed? So we want to first demonstrate the fact that people are succeeding. We took 16 accounts. 16 accounts that we currently manage that had revenue tracking all the way back since 2008. We didn't manage all these people back in 2008. Over time, some of these accounts came into our management. But here are the trends. The bottom line is the amount people are spending in ad. The increase in spend is not that great. But look at the results. This is the revenue generated by those ads. Significant increases one year after another with all these changes at Google. But we changed something too. I want to show you how big of a difference that has had. The industry uses a metric when doing PPC. That metric is ROAS, return on ad spend. It's calculated by taking the revenue generated by Adwords or Bing ads, whatever it may be. Let's just use Adwords. Revenue generated by Adwords minus how much you spent in Adwords. That's the difference between the two, divided by how much you spent in Adwords. Now, while this is a nice number to look at and shows you whether or not you're making more money than you're spending, it is masking so many costs that it inflates the top number and it deflates the bottom number. See, business owners want to know how much money they made, not how good they're doing against a made-up metric that doesn't even take into account their margins or management fees. So what we did in 2011, we started shifting towards managing our clients against how much cash they make each month. So we take the revenue generated by ads multiplied by their margin minus how much they spent combined with their management fees. And for the purposes of all the examples that we're going to show going forward, we're going to show cash impact for a lot of different examples. We're going to use in those cases a 30% margin and a 15% management fee. Now, what happened when we switched to cash impact. This is the average cash impact for those 16 accounts, 1 year at a time. Look at this. Back in 2009, using ROAS, even if we had a positive ROAS number, it was masking the fact that costs were actually bringing the value down. And this is well before Larry Page came in and made all those improvements. But by changing the metric and flourishing in a new PPC, these same 16 accounts that were losing up to $50,000 in cash impact per year, some managed by other agencies, I must mention, are now making $250,000 on average cash impact after all costs are said and done. This is not revenue. This is profit. If you do write to us at sales@exclusiveconcepts.com and let us know you want us to do this Google Audit 2014, we are going to help you analyze how much cash impact you're achieving right now. Let's talk about some advanced concepts that help people succeed in the new world of PPC. The new value of the top position, our pivotal approach to PPC, can be your pivotal approach as well, tiered Google shopping, and triangular remarketing. Let's start off with the top position. We'll make sense of this now. For those 16 accounts that we were working with, that we've been using for these examples, we took the profit divided by spend. You know what that did for us? It shows us the profit per dollar spent. And we separated it by the average position of ads. So ads across these 16 accounts that achieved an average position of 1 made a profit per dollar of $1.77. Position 2, 64 cents. Position 3, $1.27, etc. The top position makes more profit. It is more expensive, but it makes more profit. And why does it make more profit? Look at this. The results are right below the search. It has the highest prominence of any element on this page. It lends itself to the highest click-through rate. That's one thing. It also has top spot prerogative. Top spot prerogative. Look how much more height the top spot has versus number 2. While number 2 has to take its site links and neatly organize them in one row, here we get 2 rows, an indent, and extra space below. This is top spot prerogative. People see this and say, now that is a site that has its act together. The most attractive ad in the entire search real estate. Plus, believe it or not, people trust Google. And because Google puts you at number 1, and people don't understand why you're number 1, all they can say is, if Google trusts them, and I trust Google, then I trust them. It lends itself to a much higher conversion rate. But let's talk about pivotal approach now. Okay, so we understand the value of the top position. Pivotal approach to us means take data that exists in the back end of Adwords, and instead of looking at data by campaigns, ad groups, ads, the way Google wants everyone to look at it, change the way you look at things. Look at AdWords and the data in AdWords in a way that your competitors would never think of. Pivot that data to give you insights. For these 16 accounts, we pivoted the data. We separated every ad by position and once again by the device that was triggering these ads in these different positions. What this tells us is where these trends break. Now across the board still, position 1 is the most profitable. But look at this. Average position 3 looks great, right? not so much in mobile. Mainly because with mobile, typically the ads are just 1 and 2 at the top. And the third ad and whatnot are below. Less trust, clicks from people who couldn't be sold once or twice already, so they're unlikely to be sold on the third chance. And for tablet users, there is something going on with position 4 that is vastly different from the position 4 showing up in PCs. This is interesting information, and it can be done for your site. It can be analyzed separately for your site. If you do write to salesexclusiveconcepts.com, you ask for the Google Audit 2014, we will actually do this analysis just for your site as well. Okay, tiered Google Shopping. The most common way that people do Google Shopping right now is that they have one campaign for all their products, as if every product should be bid on equally. It's not the way you should do it. You should have 3 tiers. Your top tier should be products that have shown a historical value to them. Historically, these products kill it. Their value per visit's high, they're popular, etc. Separate those products out. Give them their own campaigns, give them their own ad groups, whatever you need. But make it so that you can target these products more aggressively. And you should bid very high compared to any other bids that you do. Because you are encouraging a pattern that is already proven to make you money. That's tier 1. Tier 2 is taking your product line and breaking it out into logical groupings. Maybe by product type and brand. That's a logical group. You might have 5 categories, product types. You may have 5 brands. So you have 25 groups. More likely you have somewhere between 300 and 5,000 groups. By separating them all out and investing in them evenly with a medium, somewhat conservative bid, you can start to see which ones are going to rise to the occasion, which ones are not going to rise. When they rise to the occasion, consider bringing them into your top tier again. If they're doing really well at a segmented level, as a group of products, start breaking out those products, do a better job of getting those products to show up with a higher bid. So you elevate the top performers here. And if they don't perform well, you relegate them to the bottom tier. The bottom tier is an all products campaign that includes any product that you did not deliberately target already. And you can do a penny bid or a nickel bid. You're just trying to target these products that usually don't perform that well, but maybe if your cost per click is so low, they might have some relevant performance. So once again, if you write to salesexclusiveconcepts.com, ask for your Google Audit 2014, we're going to see whether or not you're using Google Shopping effectively. This is all in one audit. It's a free audit. Amazing. All right, triangular remarketing. We already looked at the fact that Larry Page has made it more profitable to invest in PPC. And one of those reasons, one of those activities that he has done towards that end was invest in a lot of new remarketing capabilities. How do you use that? We suggest triangular remarketing. When someone finishes a sale on your site, start showing them traditional image ads that represent your brand. This is what we call legacy remarketing ads. Oh, there's 11 different sizes. You create ads that represent your brand, and you keep people talking about your brand. If they bought, that will spread word of mouth, or maybe even get them to make purchases once again at your site because they know your brand well now. Until they finish their purchase, though, continue to use dynamic remarketing to show them those products that they haven't finished buying yet. And then when they finish the sale, put them into brand new remarketing. This is a good way, tactical way, to balance out these 2 different types of remarketing. But no matter what, when someone has been to your site, they qualify for you to start using RLSA and search ads. Typically, you will decrease the cost of those clicks, but you'll also be able to speak to people in a different way now that you know that they've been to your site. Okay. Once again, we're going to find out. If you write to sales at exclusiveconcepts.com, we're going to find out whether or not you're using remarketing effectively. Now, to summarize, what should your e-commerce strategy for Google be? It is exactly what we are going to audit for you. Write to sales at exclusiveconcepts.com. Tell us you want your Google Audit 2014. And we're going to help you prepare this e-commerce strategy. We're going to check for dupe content. Check for the footprint of Panda and possible penalties. Same thing for Penguin. Find out how your content is faring against what Panda, Penguin, and the indexation team want. We'll see how big your opportunity is and whether or not working with us would make it profitable for you. We'll find out how much cash impact your paid search is actually achieving. What PPC positions are most profitable for you, and then break that out by device. See whether or not Google Shopping is working effectively for you and whether or not you are effectively using its functionality. And same thing for remarketing. It is so simple. This work would take you 20 hours. We're going to do this with you in 1 hour for free. Sales at exclusiveconcepts.com. You're going to request a Google Audit 2014. When we did the webinar, this is where we did QA. We hope in the future you join us for the actual live webinars. Go to our site, sign up for our newsletter, and we will introduce you and invite you for many upcoming webinars. We hope you enjoyed this. This is Nik Rajpal once again, VP of Client Services here at Exclusive Concepts, N Rajpal, N-R-A-J-P-A-L, at exclusiveconcepts.com. My Twitter handle is at NIK_RAJPAL. Take care, folks. Hope you enjoyed it.